All right, diving in today into something pretty wild. Elon Musk's Colossus's AI supercomputer.
Yeah, it's making some serious waves.
Definitely grabbed our attention, that's for sure. We've been digging through articles, research, the whole 9 yards. And this thing is, well, it's a beast.
No kidding.
Over 100,000 of the most powerful AI chips they could get their hands on, all packed into one building.
And the cooling system, that's a story in itself.
Right. Uses more water than a small town, apparently.
It's incredible.
And the storage capacity, get this, 1 billion gigabytes.
Yeah.
An exabyte.
Yeah, try wrapping your head around that.
I mean, to put that in perspective, that's like 500 million HD movies.
Insane.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about some flashy new tech toy.
Oh, absolutely not.
Colossus is part of this race to create an AI so powerful it could change everything.
It certainly has the potential. And what's interesting is that Musk decided to build this behemoth in a pretty unexpected place.
You're telling me you wouldn't think a cutting-edge supercomputer would be hiding out in an old appliance factory?
But it is in Memphis, Tennessee, of all places.
So why Memphis? Why an old factory?
Speed. They needed a building, and they needed it fast. Had to have the right specs, of course, and this factory just happened to be perfect.
So they could get Colossus up and running quickly.
Exactly. They got it done in just 122 days, which is just unheard of for a project this massive.
122 days. That's faster than some kitchen renovations I've heard of.
It's mind-blowing. They basically gutted the whole factory and built this supercomputer right inside. And they came up with this really unique 3-level layout.
Oh, how's that work?
So power's on the top level, cooling's below, and smack dab in the middle, you've got the heart of it all, the GPU cluster.
Okay, hold on. Back up a sec. For those of us who aren't, tech wizards, break down this GPU thing for me. What is it, and why is it so important for AI?
Right. So a GPU, a graphics processing unit, it's basically a specialized brain for visual data. They were originally designed for video games, to handle those complex graphics quickly.
Makes sense.
But it turns out they're also super efficient for the kind of crazy calculations that AI training needs.
So like a regular CPU can't handle that?
It can, but it's not as good. Think of it this way. A CPU, your computer's main processor, it's like a generalist, good at a lot of things. But a GPU that's a specialist, totally focused on parallel processing, it can crunch massive amounts of data, which is exactly what the AI needs.
Ah, so they basically loaded Colossus up with over 100,000 of these specialized GPUs. No wonder NVIDIA's calling it the fastest supercomputer out there. But with all those GPUs firing at once, doesn't that create a ton of heat? I mean, how do they keep this thing from melting down?
That's where the cooling system comes in. They've got this really innovative liquid cooling setup.
Liquid cooling, like water.
Exactly. Instead of using regular air conditioning, which would be, ridiculously inefficient for something this big, they built this network of pipes.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
They circulate massive amounts of water through the whole facility, pulling the heat away from those GPUs.
So it's like a giant high-tech radiator for the building, keeping everything running cool. That's pretty smart. But we're talking about a system that's chewing through, what was it, exabytes of data.
Yeah, exabytes. It's mind-boggling.
And I got to admit, I don't throw that term around every day. So, like, how much data are we actually talking about here? Give me something I can wrap my head around.
Well, an exabyte, it's essentially all the data stored on the entire internet. Every website, video, email, you name it.
Whoa, it's all on Colossus.
That's what they're working with. And all that data, they're using it to train their AI, Grok.
Grok, right. But with that much information flying around, it's got to be a logistical nightmare to get it where it needs to go quickly.
You're not wrong. Data flow is critical in AI training. Every single one of those 100,000 GPUs needs access to the data instantly.
Instantly? How's that even possible?
xAI, the company behind Colossus, they built a super high-speed network using these things called NVIDIA Bluefield 3DPUs and fiber optic cables.
I'm guessing that's pretty fast.
We're talking data transfer speeds 400 times faster than your home internet connection.
Wow. I can barely download a movie in a few seconds. Can't imagine moving exabytes of data around that fast. But all this processing power, the cooling, the network, it must take an insane amount of electricity to keep Colossus running.
It does, and that actually caused a big problem for xAI early on. They found that even tiny fluctuations in the power from the grid were messing with the training process.
Wait, so even a little blip in the power could throw things off?
Yep. We're talking about a system so sensitive that even milliseconds of variation can cause problems.
Wow, that's delicate.
They needed a way to make sure the energy flow was completely smooth and consistent, and that's where Tesla comes in.
Tesla? like the electric car company. What do they have to do with supercomputers?
Tesla also makes these massive battery packs called Megapacks. They're designed for industrial-scale energy storage.
Ah, I've heard of those.
XAI decided to incorporate these Megapacks into Colossus's infrastructure. They basically act as a buffer.
A buffer.
Yeah, they take in power from the grid and then feed it straight into the training cluster. It's like a giant, super stable battery backup. Make sure Colossus gets a perfectly consistent flow of energy no matter what's happening on the main grid.
That's brilliant. They basically created their own mini power grid just for AI training. Talk about dedication. But let's get back to Grok, the AI that's at the heart of all this. It's more than just a chatbot, right?
Oh, yeah. Grok's the AI model that Colossus is training, and it's already showing some pretty amazing capabilities.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, what makes Grok really groundbreaking is this recent upgrade they gave it. It's got vision capabilities now.
Vision capabilities. Hold on. You mean it can, like, actually see and interpret images?
Exactly. It can analyze and understand images now, not just text.
Whoa. That's a huge leap. It's like giving Grok a whole new way to experience the world. What are the implications of that?
Well, it's a massive step towards artificial general intelligence, AGI.
AGI. The holy grail of AI. Creating an AI that can do anything a human can do, maybe even better.
That's the ultimate goal. And with these new vision capabilities, Grok is pushing us closer to that reality.
This is where it gets really interesting, and we're going to pick up this conversation in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned, because we're going to explore AGI, the potential risks and benefits, and what it all means for the future.
Back again, continuing our deep dive into Colossus and well, the whole world of AI.
Yeah, right where we left off, Grok's new vision capabilities.
It really is pushing us closer to AGI, that artificial general intelligence.
And it's kind of mind-blowing to think about, like we could be on the verge of creating an AI that's as smart as a human.
It's a possibility, yeah.
But if I'm being honest, it's a little unsettling too. What happens if we, actually create something that's smarter than us?
I understand the apprehension.
It's like straight out of sci-fi, and those movies don't always end well for us humans.
Yeah, true. AGI has been captivating our imaginations for a long time, often portrayed as a threat. But it's important to separate fiction from reality.
Right. Yeah.
The future is always uncertain, but we can approach AGI with a balanced perspective. Acknowledge both its potential benefits and the risks, of course.
Okay, so let's talk about the risks first. What are some of the legitimate concerns about AGI that we need to be aware of? What should we be worried about?
Well, and one of the biggest concerns is control, right? If we create an AI that's smarter than us, how do we make sure it's still aligned with our values?
Yeah.
How do we prevent it from going rogue, developing its own agenda that might clash with ours?
That's a scary thought.
It is.
It's like that whole genie in the bottle thing,
Yeah.
You get your wish, but then it backfires on you.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are ethical considerations. If an AGI can actually feel emotions, should we treat it like a human being? Give it rights? What if it makes choices that we consider morally wrong, even if they seem logical from its perspective?
It's a tough one.
These are some complex questions that we need to be thinking about, grappling with as we move forward with this technology.
Yeah, no doubt. It feels like we're, entering uncharted territory here, and the stakes are incredibly high. But surely someone's thinking about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It can't just be a free-for-all where everyone's racing to build the most powerful AI without considering the consequences.
You're right. It's not a free-for-all. There's a whole field dedicated to this, AI ethics.
The AI ethics.
Researchers, philosophers, policymakers, they're all working on guidelines and regulations for responsible development and use of AGI.
That makes me feel a little better.
The goal is to make sure AI is used for good, not to harm us.
Okay, good.
But it's still a balancing act. It's a powerful technology with the potential to change everything, and, well, we don't have all the answers yet.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about the risks, but you mentioned earlier that AGI could also help us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Yeah, it has that potential.
Can you give me some specific examples? Like, how could AGI actually make things better?
Sure. Imagine an AI that can sift through mountains of medical data and come up with cures for diseases that have plagued us for centuries. Cancer, Alzheimer's, you name it.
That would be incredible.
Or an AI that can design sustainable energy solutions, help us tackle climate change. It could even help us understand the universe, unlock secrets that are beyond our grasp right now.
Wow, that's powerful. It's almost like AGI could become this super-powered partner for humanity, helping us overcome our limitations and achieve things we never thought possible.
It's a possibility. But remember, with any powerful tool, there's always potential for misuse.
Right.
It all depends on how we develop it and utilize it.
Like fire, right.
Yeah, good analogy.
Yeah. Fire can be incredibly destructive, but it also keeps us warm, cooks our food, powers our machines.
Exactly. AI is the same. We have to approach it carefully, with respect, but also with a sense of wonder and possibility.
Okay, so where does Colossus fit into all of this? Is Elon Musk basically trying to win the AGI race? Is he trying to be the first one to achieve it with Grok?
Well, Musk has definitely hinted at that ambition. He seems to believe that AGI is the key to unlocking all sorts of secrets, ensuring the future of humanity.
A key to the universe.
Yeah, he sees it as a necessary step in our evolution as a species.
But isn't there a risk that he could, like, unleash something that he can't control? I mean, that's a pretty big gamble, right?
It is a risk, but Musk believes the potential benefits outweigh the dangers.
Okay.
He's confident his team at XAI can do this safely and responsibly, but of course, only time will tell.
Yeah, for sure. This whole AI race is really heating up, and it feels like we're standing on the edge of something truly revolutionary. Or maybe catastrophic. Who knows?
It's going to be a fascinating ride, that's for sure. We're witnessing a pivotal moment in human history, and the choices we make now will have huge consequences down the line.
That's a sobering thought. In the final part of our deep dive, I want to shift gears a little and talk about some of the philosophical implications of AGI. What does it even mean to be human when machines might become more intelligent than us? What does the future hold for us in this brave new world? So we've spent this deep dive, really getting into the nuts and bolts of Colossus, Elon Musk's supercomputer.
It's a powerful machine, that's for sure.
And it's AI, Grok. It's clear we're like right on the edge of something massive, this whole new era where AI could totally reshape our world.
It's an exciting time, but yeah, it's a little daunting too, right?
Definitely daunting. And that's what I want to talk about now. We've been talking tech, but I want to step back, look at the bigger picture. What does it even mean to be human when machines might actually become smarter than us?
That's the question, isn't it? Philosophers have been wrestling with that one for ages, but it feels a lot more real now with AI advancing so rapidly.
Right, like it's not just a thought experiment anymore. It's like we're forced to confront what makes us human, what makes us special.
Exactly. We've always defined ourselves by our intelligence, our ability to think, create, feel emotions. But what happens when machines start doing those same things, maybe even better than us?
It's kind of freaky, right?
Sure, it can be scary. Some people might feel threatened, like their value is diminished if machines can outperform them.
Makes sense. Like if a machine can write a symphony or solve complex equations faster than any human, what does that make us?
But I see it differently. I think it's actually an opportunity.
An opportunity. How so?
It forces us to really look inward, to examine what truly sets us apart.
Okay, so instead of being afraid of AI, we should use it as a way to better understand ourselves.
Exactly. Maybe what makes us unique isn't just our intelligence, but, our capacity for empathy, our moral compass, our ability to experience the world through our senses, those things that machines, at least for now, can't replicate.
I like that. Maybe AI will help us appreciate our own humanity even more. But then there's still that fear of the unknown. We have no idea how this is going to play out, and that's unsettling, to say the least.
The future's always uncertain, right? That's part of what makes it so intriguing. But history has shown us, time and time again, that humans are incredibly adaptable.
Yeah, that's true.
We faced all kinds of challenges, overcome incredible obstacles, and each time we've come out stronger, more creative, more innovative.
So you're optimistic about the future, even with AI in the mix?
I am. I believe we have the capacity to navigate this AI revolution, to shape it in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Okay, I'm feeling a little more hopeful now. It's easy to get caught up in the doomsday scenarios, but we can't just sit back and be passive. We have a responsibility to steer this thing in the right direction.
Absolutely. We have to guide its development, make sure it's used ethically, responsibly. AI should be a tool to enhance our lives, to help us solve the big problems, not create new ones.
Couldn't agree more. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I can't help but think about the sheer scale of what we've been discussing. Colossus is already mind-blowingly powerful, and it's only been up and running for a year. Imagine what 5 years, 10 years down the line will look like.
It's an incredible thought, isn't it? Will we have cracked the code of the universe? Or will we face challenges we never even imagined?
The future's a mystery. But one thing's for sure, It's going to be a wild ride.
It will.
And that's it for our deep dive today. We've covered a lot of ground, from the raw power of Colossus and its AI, Grok, to the philosophical questions this technology raises. It's a journey that's just beginning, and we hope you'll keep exploring with us. Thanks for listening.